Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. So in today's video, I'm going to give you the answers to 3 common questions or issues that I see written in the comments underneath my videos all the time. And I'm going to be doing a few of these videos as well, but I'm just going to be going through three in each video just to break it down a little bit for you so I can be a little bit more concise and go into a little bit more detail. So for those of you who are new to my channel, hello and welcome. I just wanted to let you know that I have a 1 to 30 violin course that is available to download. Now, this has come from my decades of teaching privately and also as a London College of Music examiner here in the UK. And it is because of this that I have put together the best home learning violin package available on the market. It is the first online interactive violin course that is available with not only videos but also books as well. So the two are very interactive, and it has been written in such a way that when you're reading the books and you're going through the videos and everything, it seems like I really am there with you in the room. My course does absolutely guarantees to take you from a complete beginner violinist, so you don't know anything about music, the violin, nothing, to a very decent, accomplished intermediate player. That is a very bold statement to make, but I absolutely stand by that. And if you check out the reviews of my customers that have left them in my shop underneath that book series and other books as well in my shop as well, then you will see that it is true. The proof is always in the pudding, as my music teacher always used to say to me. The links to buy the books and more information about the course will be underneath this video. And the second thing that I wanted to talk to you as well about is that a lot of you don't know that I actually have a Patreon page. Now, Patreon is a place where you can pledge monthly amounts. Depending on how much you pledge will depend on what benefits that you get. So often the more you pledge, the more benefits that you will get. But basically my Patreon page gives you access to hundreds of violin sheet music that I have arranged over not only just the years of me being on YouTube, but also really just since I've been arranging music. So since I've been teaching since I was 18 years old, so that's quite a long time ago, and all the music that I've kind of accumulated and arranged over over the years of me being on YouTube, which I've been on YouTube since 2011. So I think there's around, off the top of my head, around 800 sheets of music. So it really is an unlimited resource of sheet music, and there is no other place like it on the internet where you can get so much music that has been arranged for the violin for just so little money. You can cancel your membership at any time, but you will get access to that, as well as violin backing tracks that go with some of the music. Not all of the music has backing tracks, but some of them do. Sometimes I will write blog posts and put extra videos up. So just a few little extra bits and bobs. So I'll put a link to Patreon underneath so you can check that out if you want to. So these are just questions that I see in the comments sections underneath any of my videos all the time, pretty much on a daily basis, and I do try and answer them the best I can, but sometimes it is quite difficult to type an answer down when really I kind of need to be either verbally saying or showing you. So that is quite difficult to do, so I feel like it's quite limited. So I'm going to kind of do blanket answers with these in a way, so hopefully this should cover most of the issues that you guys are having when you come in with these questions. So the first one is not a question, but it's a common mistake, and that is holding incorrectly. Now, I talk about this kind of thing all the time in my videos, and it's so important, but I think people have problems with their playing because they're just simply not holding the violin correctly. Now, I would say about several weeks ago, or recently on my channel, I have released a video on how to hold the violin. I'll link it underneath so you can check that out if you want to. So it's going to go into a lot more detail than this, but that video will show you where to hold the violin. So I talk about exactly where you need to hold it. So I'm not going to talk about that because I've already done that in that video, so you can go and check that out, linked underneath. But I see a lot of people holding their violin in very strange positions, and I think it kind of boils down to a few things really. Number one, they're being lazy. They're just not holding it in the right place. So maybe they don't know that, or maybe they do know that, but it's gradually slipped down over the time, and now when they pick up the violin, that's where it kind of automatically is. you know, it could be a number of things, I don't know, or it could just be that, you know, you think it's down there. Another reason could be that maybe you need a shoulder rest or something. So as you all know, I don't play with a shoulder rest, and I haven't done for about 30 odd years. I don't like them. It's not that I don't agree with them, I just don't like them. I just have more freedom personally than if I do have one. I feel like if I have a shoulder rest, the violin is up here and my neck is shoved into the air. I think just because I have quite a short amount of space between my chin where the violin sits and my shoulder, so that suits me. If you do have a longer neck, or you have a bigger gap between your kind of shoulder where the violin is going to sit and your neck, then you might want to entertain the idea of actually buying a shoulder rest. I will link to a shoulder rest that I do recommend, and I have made a video on this recently as well, so I will link the video where I'm talking about that in depth, and a couple of links to the ones that I like and the ones that I recommend, and the ones that don't fall off the violin every 5 minutes as well. So you can also put a cloth underneath it as well, or on your shoulder to bridge the gap, but it's just experimentation. So that could be part of the reason why as well. But if your violin is in the wrong place, then you're not going to be bowing in the right place, and then everything is going to be sounding kind of awful. It has a bit of a ripple effect. So if you are bowing here, if you have the violin here, and then the bow is here where it should be, then you've got a nice open sound, and everything's bowing in the right way. Now, if the violin is down in front of me, it's in the wrong place, and instantly my arm, can you see the difference here? When I'm like this, everything is out and open. The minute this comes in, everything crunches in, shoulder goes up, arm goes in, wrist goes up, bow goes down, everything just... And genuinely, no word of a lie, I do see people playing like that. Sometimes when you come across them in videos, or, you know, I've seen students play like that before, because they do, and then I need to correct them. So people do play like that. So next time you are playing, have a quick little look in the mirror, or get someone to take a photograph of you, or, you know, whatever. But just make sure that you are not one of those people that are playing that way. So everything is going to be affected, because then you're going to be doing that, and then you can see that the bow is down on the fingerboard. So not only does that sound horrendous, but it's going to be too flat across there, and then you're going to be hitting near enough all 4 strings, 3 if not 4 strings. So it has a ripple effect. So make sure you hold the violin in the right place, and then everything else kind of will stem out nicely from there. So the second thing, or the second kind of correction or issue or mistake that people make is incorrect bow hold. Now, as well as having the incorrect hold or position on the violin, you've got an incorrect bow hold. Now, having the violin in the wrong place is going to kind of dictate everything really, but the sound comes from the bow. The fingers will give you the sound of the note, but the actual sound is going to be coming from the bow. No bow on the strings, no sound. So if you want to get a nice, good, clear, decent sound, then you've got to make sure that your bow hold is there. And apart from the actual, again, I've done a video on this a few weeks ago. I will link it directly underneath this, and I've gone into more detail on the actual bow hold. So I'm not going to go into detail about that, because you can watch that video. But once you've got your fingers in the right place for your bow hold, what you then want to make sure is that your thumb is always bent. I see a lot, so many students and so many people playing. I can't even do it, because my hand just physically won't bend that way, because it's spent years bending the other way. So I don't know how people actually sort of play like that, but everybody has their thumb that way. It shouldn't be that way. The thumb should always be bent. I do talk about this all the time. Because the thumb is bent, it means that you are able to do all sorts of bow techniques, and it all comes from the thumb, not necessarily from the fingers. If the thumb is that way, then there's total 100% resistance. I physically can't even move the bow. I can't even pulse the bow. But if the thumb is bent, then the thumb is allowing me to do this. It's like trying to grip something with my thumb kind of, with my thumb like this. I physically can't do it. If this is my phone, then I physically can't bend my hand. Try it next time, just try it. you can't bend anything round because your thumb is it's just literally stopping you from doing it. So I don't know how people play like that. So make sure whatever you do that your thumb is bent, then you'll be able to do all the bowing techniques in the world. I'm not saying you're going to be perfect at them, but you will be able to, technically speaking, go ahead and do them. So you want to make sure that your wrist is in line with your elbow, and that is in line with your knuckles. So you've got more or less a straight line going here, and then the bow is hanging down. You should never have the bow up any higher like that. So again, add that with the violin being in the wrong place, and you're going to end up doing all of this. If the violin is in the right place and your bow is in the wrong place, then again, you're not really going to be better off. You're just going to be half better off. But if the bow is where it should be, everything is nice, open and relaxed, then you're going to be able to bow in the right place, and you're not going to be bowing like you're sawing a piece of wood. Okay, so the third issue, or the third kind of mistake question that I get on my channel is intonation. Now, I do teach my students, and on my 1 to 30 violin course that I mentioned at the start of this video, I do teach my students to put dots on their violin like I've done there. So I don't recommend anything like those don't fret stickers that you can get. Those ones that go that you stick all the way along the fingerboard. A lot of people think that you have to have those, but I really don't agree with them, and I don't like them. For those of you that want to put them on, you know, that's absolutely fine. If you want to do that, you want to do that, but I don't agree with them. And the reason why I don't agree with them is several reasons, really. Number one, I think I think there's too much going on. I can't even work out. I've been playing for 30 years. I can't even work out what half of those lines are for, and if I'm finding that confusing after all the years I've been playing, then goodness knows how you guys figure that out. So you've got way too many lines on there that you don't need. I feel like you've got so many lines on there that your brain and your fingers are going to get so lazy that you're just not going to register anything. You're not really going to start looking at the notes A, B, C, D, D sharp, B flat. You're not going to be looking at the notes and associating it with a coloured strip. Oh, that B flat's got to be played on the white line behind the orange line. The next one is the green. You can't think like that because there's too much going on. So the only lines, or the only dots that I recommend you put on are the first finger dot, which is the yellow dot, and the third finger dot, which is the blue dot. Again, I did a video on this a few weeks ago. I will link that underneath, going into detail the where, why, whats and hows, and also where you put the placement of these dots as well. So going back to intonation, so your intonation is going to be good, always going to be good if you have these dots on. So you need to know where the first finger goes, and you need to know where the third finger goes. That is it. You don't need to know it. You don't need anything else on there. The reason being is because the second finger will only ever go in one of two places. It will only ever go next to the first finger, so jammed in right next to the first finger, or it will go jammed in, slide in next to the third finger. That's it. It will never go anywhere else. If it goes anywhere else in between the two dots, it's going to be out of tune. So only ever going to be here, or it's only ever going to be there. Now the same with the fourth finger, is only ever going to be next to the third, or it's only ever going to be a sort of a slight finger gap apart from the third finger. And that's it. Why on earth do you need any more lines? Now, when you're moving up into third position, which would be around here, there's a different way of learning. And by that point, I really do hope that you wouldn't have one of those fret stickers on the violin. So I do recommend that you have got dots. So I would say make sure you've got dots. Links to all the videos on how to do that are going to be underneath here. But make sure that you do have dots on there, because that's really going to help you with your intonation. Now, some people say that their teacher doesn't like those dots, but I would argue that how can a student learn intonation if they don't know what intonation is, if they have no frame of reference, if they have no notes to associate with? How can you learn something that you don't know, or doesn't know exist, or don't know the sound of? It's like saying, do you like spaghetti bolognese? How would I know that if I haven't had it? So obviously I have a reference in this video, but do you know what I'm saying? How can someone ask you if you like a particular food when you've never had that particular food before? So it's the same sort of thing. So if you don't know the sound of the notes, then you've got nothing to associate with. So I don't think there's anything wrong with just having those two dots. They are the minimum that I would suggest, and they're very easy for you to then put your finger in the right position. So your first finger is going to go down perfectly. Your second finger, depending on the music, that's covered in my lessons, by the way, that I spoke about in the beginning, that will either go there or there, you know, just behind where the dot is. Third finger goes on the dot, and the fourth finger will either go there or there. What's the problem? So you have those two dots there, your intonation will always be spot on. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it has been helpful. Don't forget to check the links underneath this video regarding my Patreon page and my world famous 1 to 30 violin lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.